smells so good. Okay. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but the cheese is melted. It looks warm all the way through. Oh, wow. And the center is like the perfect temperature. I have a little probe. I don't have it with me, but I'm not kidding. Like, it's perfect. Better than a microwave. Wow. So, I'm not gonna lie. I am totally impressed. Frozen dinner with zero problem whatsoever. I'm gonna eat, and then I think we're gonna do a van tour. Oh. Wow. It's kind of warm. It's been warm. Anyway, hey everyone, it's Danielle again, and it's been a while, so I thought I would jump in and do a quick video just letting you all know that I'm still here, while so many things have changed since this whole pandemic thing started. So one of the biggest additions and changes to life is this van. So I've been into RV life, van life, what have you, for more years than I care to remember. At one point it was kind of a retirement thing. We picked up this old, very well used, old cargo work van. It's a Ford Econoline, and spent a couple of months. The initial build out, if you want to call it that, was really done pretty quick and easy, but we did spend quite a bit of time cleaning and, you know, changing a little bit, modifying here and there and things, and it just, you know, kind of goes from there. But so that's where we're at. I thought I would do a quick van tour. I'm here at a super beautiful park. I just had lunch, and let's show you around. It's always really interesting because when you start some of these, you find somewhere there's usually not anybody around, and then once you start recording, people start showing up. There's a truck behind me that's idling, a couple other people walking around. Hopefully that's not too distracting. Anyway, so we picked up this van super cheap, and there's a reason for that. As old as it is and as many miles it's got 182,000 miles on it. It was an old work van, so it was super used, super beat up. It was in really rough shape, but that's kind of the direction I thought I wanted to go with my first build, because I didn't want to go out and spend $15,000 on a van and a lot of money on a build out only to find that I didn't like it, or I didn't enjoy it, or whatever the case may be. I wanted to do something as inexpensively as possible and see where that leads. I went and first looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is in worse shape than I expected. But the more I dug into it, and we spent a lot of time looking at it, the more I dug into it, the more I'm like, wait a minute, I can do this and I can do that, and it needs, oh my gosh, it needed, this is not the direction I thought I was going to go right now, but it needed an alternator, it needed a radiator, it needed shocks, it needed a radius arm bushing. What else did it need right off the bat? I think I covered most of it. If I think of something, I'll let you know. Anyway, it needed all that like right off the bat. Oh yeah, and a muffler. It didn't even have a muffler on it, so it was horrible to drive. So, but I knew I could do all those things. I don't have to pay labor for anybody to do those things, so I know that I could do them. Working on a van is more challenging than working on a regular pickup, so I expected that. But nonetheless, I was able to do them. So I was able to purchase the parts one at a time, take the projects one at a time, and You know, I've done all those things. Got the muffler on it, tailpipe, new radiator, the shocks, the new alternator, and those things. And it's absolutely amazing the difference. Doing some of those maintenance things, yes, right off the bat, it's like, oh my gosh, my radiators, I need a new radiator. You know, that's $200. Yeah, that's $200. But you know, you take care of the problem. You don't have to worry about the possibility of being stranded, or worse yet, even destroying your engine because of overheating. So I just took care of the problems. The shocks and the radius arm bushing just make it ride so much better and nicer. So we did all those, and in the meantime, we also had to strip it. Now, it was a work van, a cargo van, so there wasn't like there was a bunch of stuff in it, but the seats, the front seats, because that's all there were, and the rubber floor mat or whatever that was completely destroyed, we just took that out and threw that away completely. I'll have to replace that at some point. And then just cleaning. I don't think this poor van had had a bath since it was new, and it was so bad. But we spent a lot of time. We got it clean, to the point we felt comfortable with it, and then we started building. And right immediately, it's kind of interesting, and this is kind of part of what I wanted to do a project like this for, because we knew almost immediately when we put something in, like for example, the bed changed. Like, built the platform, put it in, and the very next day took it out and changed it. Getting different ideas, YouTube, different channels, stuff like that has been super helpful. Some of the Facebook groups and stuff I'm in have been extremely helpful. And I borrowed some of those ideas. So like the bed platform and the way I made the bed, I took the idea from Chrome, from Van City Vanlife. Even some of like the kitchen cabinet, it's not really a kitchen, the counter top that's in it, and the drawers I took from another channel. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, using just, you know, little plastic drawers, super cheap and stuff, because that's another thing, is we wanted to do this as inexpensively as possible. So that's what we've done. Anyway, let's get started on this. So here you can see the back of the bed. So the mattress is just foam. It's like a 2 or 3 inch camping pad foam, and then a 1 inch memory foam that was gifted to me. So that was really cool. The blanket we got from the thrift store, along with several of these pillows. I love little tiny pillows and stuff like that. They're cute, they're fun, they're also functional. Got them at a thrift store. So super inexpensive that way. I was initially going to trim the mattress to fit, because I just used a sheet of plywood. So it's 4 feet wide and 6 feet long. And I was going to trim the mattress down so it specifically fit that, but it's like, I haven't really needed to. When we sleep in here, we don't put too much weight on this side anyway. I might figure out some way to put a piece of board or something here to support it, to make the whole thing, you know, so, you know, you could really spread out and stuff, but hasn't been an issue yet. We did cover the board with a little bit of indoor-outdoor carpeting that we had. It does make it a little bit nicer. Also, it kind of helps. There's no slivers or anything like that, and it kind of helps to keep the foam. The foam doesn't slide around or anything on it that way. The cool thing that I really like about this style, this design, is how much space it leaves me underneath. Like, I've got a camping lantern, I've got a tote that's got jumper cables and fluids and tow rope, things like that. A couple of camping chairs, totes, a couple of tables, some other tools, all kinds of things, you name it, it's underneath of here. So I like having, one, I don't want to have a bed that I have to up and down, make up and make down all the time. I like having the permanent bed. I use it for multiple things, not only just sleeping, as a platform to be able to do things. I can sit on the other end and have my laptop out and do some work and things like that. So I like having, you know, the permanent bed. If I want to lay down, I just lay down. But I also wanted to have all the storage, because let's face it, in these vans, there's not much storage space at all. We have to utilize as much as we can. I've got all my emergency stuff shovel. I even carry and I'll do a separate video on it because I think it's well worth it. A lot of people like to get, overlanders like to get like an ARB air pump, but they're really expensive. They're fantastic and well worth the money. But again, this is about being able to do this inexpensively. And I want to be able to be self-sufficient, especially if I am in the middle of nowhere on BLM land. So I've got a Slime Pro type pump that it pumps these tires up with no issues. You set it to the pressure that you're wanting, turn it on, you can walk away, go to something else. When it reaches that pressure, it turns off. Works super great. Let's go look at the rest of the inside. Okay, here we are on the inside. As you can see, I really like having a nice, large-sized bed. I'm 5'10", so I can lay completely across with no issues. The back windows there's a little bit of Reflectix in that one window. When we got this, it did not have tint on the windows, so I tinted those. It's not the best tint job in the world, but I did it myself and it works. But I still find at times putting up a piece of Reflectix works really well, especially if the sun is coming from behind, just to cool it off just a little bit more. I've got my little fan up there for ventilation and things. For lighting, you can see there's a puck light up there. We have this one here. These two are controlled with a remote. And then you can see back there in that corner, there's another puck light along with that one right there. They are just touch operated and they're actually rechargeable. And they work pretty decent. They're just a single temperature, light temperature. It's really that super white, bright. I'm not a fan of it, but they give you light, so it works. I do have a little 12-volt TV that was gifted to me up there. It works pretty decent. And there's a super inexpensive, just a cheesy little DVD player that I have as well. I can plug both of those into the Jackery and watch a couple of movies without any issue whatsoever. Total draw when both of those are running is like 22 watts. So that's pretty slick. We've got the little oscillating fan, super cheap, grabbed that from Walmart. Then we have the skylight / vent. So I don't have a whole lot in the way of electrical requirements. So the 100-watt panel and this battery mostly powers the fridge. The Jackery will do the charging for most of my electronics and things, so that works out really well. I can plug the Jackery into this RV battery. It's a deep cycle battery, and it'll charge up the Jackery with no problem. And also being able to plug the Jackery into the van while it's running. I did put a 130 amp alternator in it, the larger of the two available alternators in it, just because. So yeah, I can totally charge the Jackery as I'm driving and things like that. So power, it's something I have to be very conscious of. I don't just run things to run them, and I try to be as efficient as I possibly can. But so far, power hasn't been an issue. So the countertop I got used from a building recycling place. They take, if you do a remodel or if they have a building that's been torn down or something like that, they pull anything that's usable out and recycle it. So I got the countertop from them. I think I paid $10 for it. The drawers underneath are just little cheap plastic drawers. I think I got them from Fred Meyer or something like that. They were like $20 for the big one and $15 or something like that for the smaller one. They don't work. They're functional. They're okay. When I first put the countertop on, I set the countertop right on top of them and thought, yeah, that'll be sturdy enough. Absolutely not sturdy enough, so don't do that. So since I got a board that I actually mounted the inverter to, and then another board over here that supports the counter is mounted to the wall, but then I put boards underneath of them to support it, and that works perfect. I haven't had any issues that way, but because of all that weight that was on those plastic drawers at one point, kind of smushed their structure a little bit, so they're challenging a little bit at times, but still functional. It's okay. Definitely kind of one of the first things I want to upgrade here in the near future. So if you guys don't have, I totally recommend like just a super soft rubber kneeling pad, gardening, like in the garden center, stuff like that for gardening and things like that. This thing is a lifesaver. Okay, I think I've covered just about everything. Put your questions in the comments. I will respond as best I can. If you guys are interested in more in-depth reviews on any of the equipment, any of the gear, anything that I have in here, put it in the comments, shout it out, let me know, and I will totally do those for you. This is something I thoroughly enjoy, and I love sharing all of this and all the knowledge and everything that I've gained and my experiences from doing this. So, okay, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to hit subscribe. Leave a comment. What was your favorite part? What do you want to know more about? What would you like to see? And as always, create your own adventure.